What's up, everybody? Today is Friday, January 19th, week 6 of Finding Your Way. This week, we're going to jump into some trade recaps and jump into a little bit of the rules that that Luna the Cat and Dell have. We're going to start off with Lasagna Cat, recapping one of his trades, as I know that he loves to recap his trades. Go for it, bud.
All right, cool. I was saying to these guys before the meeting, I didn't get much chance to trade all week because I was working on a project that was pretty all-consuming. But I've got this one here from today, and so it happens after the open. Like right here is the open where the dash line is. Um, Trading MES. So I was following the SPY chart, and you were talking a lot about RSI a little while ago in the meeting before the meeting. So as this was dumping out, I was like, let me look at RSI because it already got into overcool back here. Um, Kept going down. So whenever it's an overcool, I always kind of think to myself, is it going to start making higher lows to get out of overcool?
Hmm.
Because unless RSI is in the bullish upper half, the only time that I look for a move when it's down here, generally speaking, is if it's making higher lows outside of overcool down here. Um, so right here, just a couple these huge red ones, these huge red candles. It made a low in RSI, and it was continuing to make these other lows, but as it was doing that, it made a higher low here and a little higher low here. Um, and then by the time it made this low, that's where price action was. Now this low was lower than this one, but still much higher than that one.
Yep.
And Semper, you're showing an example in the pre-meeting that had RSI readout like that.
Hmm.
So to me, like,
You always want to track the lowest low of the RSI to make sure that it doesn't break. Like if that lower low that you said, this one right here, this one right here, if it would have broke this one, then there probably would have been continuation down and it would have been like a controlled sell type of day.
yeah,
So that's one good thing that I like that you brought up is this dump and it goes into overcool. That's a signal like, okay, I like that you pointed that out. Like once it goes into overcool, start looking. Don't necessarily get in, but start looking for divergence and then start looking at the MACD and then bring your attention back to price action so you can actually see it and then see the candle development in those levels. You know what I'm saying? Like on this higher low, did price action on that pop look strong or did it slowly go up? If it goes slowly, then you know that the sellers are still kind of in control. But if it's like it popped down like one or two ticks, but it squeezes up in like 2 seconds, then you know the buyers are starting to come in and they're being aggressive. That's what you want to
yeah.
see. You want to see aggressive candles going up. You don't want to see timid candles going up because that's
Mhm.
like the bulls, that's like the sellers taking profit, the shorts taking profit because they want to they were in this move way up here or up here and they're taking profit down here. And that's what causes that timid slow, right? Because they're slowly locking in profit. But if you see the candle aggressively pop up, then you know that's buyers coming in.
Yeah.
That's why I keep telling you guys, pay attention how the candles develop. If it's slow, then it's timid, right? But if it's a nasty pop up or even a nasty drop down, then that's either sellers coming in or buyers coming in.
It's really funny because this candle right here, right? This is where there was that data today. I forget what it was. It
Hmm.
was something or other. But right here, this red candle is where pressure was obviously starting to build up for data. You
Hmm.
know, it was all of this was probably a lead up into data, really. But this is where you really saw the pressure, and especially on this one, because this one was going whap. It was like whap. like you could see the speed. It was like that,
Yeah.
that. I was already out of trade at that point because all I was looking at was a scalp up to the 50. But this one was like it was so it was like funny watching. I was like, oh shit, like I'm not playing through data today. But if I was still in, I wasn't in because I thought the moving averages looked kind of funny and it was a Friday, so I was like, let me just see. But you know, if I had like, a contract still riding here and I saw like the way this was like really popping up fast, I would have been like, yeah, dude. Hopefully my next target would be up there. But
Um, eh, Instead of making that your target, remember earlier in the meeting we do previous structure.
oh yeah, this right
That's where
here.
sellers. That's where sellers. This is and this small structure is why it kept going up. If this was like a bigger structure, like more candles right here,
Yeah.
more of a better formed pullback right here, then this wouldn't have squeezed up. It would have dumped out right there. But sellers were there, and then sellers were really there, and you could tell by that big wick.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is like, so this one ended up like that, and this one resulted in this, I guess.
Hmm.
You know. Yeah, strong little doji guys there. And then so for this one here, uh, this isn't an A plus setup of mine, but it's one that I play a lot more these days. So it's basically you're hunting for those higher lows, the higher low divergence in RSI. You're looking for the higher lows right here. And going down to MACD, you could see that it was flirting with the cross for like a while at the same time, which is another really good sign. So my thought was like, all right, if we get a nice candle to pop above the 10 and come down to confirm the 10, I'll get in. Uh, so in the couple of candles before my entry, this was pretty crossed right here, or like it was like, yeah, it was like just happening. You're getting the first little glimpses of the cross. Um, but what I really like about RSI here is that here's our low, here's our first higher low, and then it pops over, it pops out of overcool and kind of like, I don't know, kind of like it looks like a confirmation. It's kind of like that. It makes the third higher low right here
Yep.
pretty much above overcool. It flashes a little bit of overcool, but after popping up like this, I figured it was in the free and clear zone. And so this nice green candle, that was a pretty clear indication.
Hmm.
It tapped the 12 moving average and it came down here real nice. I waited for a couple ticks to get in. I didn't get it like when it just came right down here. Uh, which I thought was totally fine.
Yeah.
Um and this one this one didn't, and you know why this one didn't scare me? Like not at all, was because the 10 was already curved up.
Yep.
It was like when this came down, this formed like a nice little pocket for it. I was like, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. And TTM was flashing. I usually like it better when the red dots happen above the 12. I still use the 12, and Semper, you pointed that out to me one time, that red dots flashing above the 12 are good for a squeeze up. But I figured that with everything else that was happening, that was already so good that this would probably swap up here, and then TTM looked good for the whole thing, and I don't know, and after I got in, there wasn't any period of me being like, oh, is this a good trade or not? Because of the nice hook that the 10 formed. And then when this volume beat came in,
Yep.
and plus the strength of this look and this look, I was like, come on, where else is it gonna go? It's gonna go up.
Yeah.
And I had a nifty little target. Conservative because moving averages are stacked funny. It was Friday. And with data coming out, I was like, oh, let me just. And I didn't trade all week. I was just like, let me just play this one a little safer. That's
Yeah,
pretty much the whole story, actually.
awesome trade. I like the little nugget. One of the things that I look at RSI is for it to go to overcool
Yeah,
and start creating higher lows, right? But like you said, I like that you said that it kind of busted through the 30 RSI and then came back and tagged it and then towed it for a little bit.
yeah,
And this is what I'm looking at. It's like, okay, I wanted to tag the tag the 30 and hold it above it. It's kind of like the 10 right here. Want to tag the 10 and hold above it.
yeah,
Same thing, but the RSI will give you a little bit of time ahead, right? Because it was creating higher lows, and then it popped back above the 30. Some traders trade that. Like when it breaks back above the 30, they'll get in. So they'd be getting in like right here
yeah,
with the stop below here. But that can be dangerous, as I've seen it like loop the 30 and just continue leaking. But
yeah. I mean, you made it really
rarely,
clear to
rarely.
me a while ago that it's like all about being above the 10 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the max, like I think between 10 and 15 RSI, it's not a guaranteed play to get in long, but the odds would be in your favor. That's like too overcooled, right? Just
Yeah.
like up here, if it gets into the 85, 90 up here, then it's almost like a sure shot for it to go down.
Mm.
But with
I
the
mean,
other confirmation,
well,
not just,
yeah. I mean, for me to base to do for me it's got to be the right RSI look
yep,
and the 10 SMA confirmation.
yep,
And
yep.
and like one other thing to support it. I mean, what was happening here was that it was coming into the gap fill on SPY.
Mhm.
That's what was going down, the common gap, the one from yesterday's highs.
And those are other things that you can use is like the VIX, the dollar. That has helped me. I'm not like staring at the VIX and on the dollar. I'm just like checking it like every 5, 10, 15 minutes just to see if it's at a support or a resistance or is it at a gap? Is it closing the gap? Those type of things. I'm not staring at it like I'm staring at the ES chart.
Yeah.
But definitely use those tools because it can give you a earlier sign that a move might be coming. And earlier could be 1 to like 5 minutes ahead of time.
Hmm.
But if you're looking at the VIX, you're you're talking through your trade and you're like, okay, I want to see a higher low off the 10. Okay, VIX is at a resistance level, right? And then I
Right.
can get in right here at the higher low of the 10 because I know VIX is going to go down, causing the market to go up.
Right.
Same goes with the dollar. Sometimes the dollar leads, sometimes the VIX leads.
So the VIX will be on its chart having resistance somewhere over here
Yep,
while this is finding a nice
support.
little support there. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I like to look at the chart. It's like, okay, is price action, like you said, I like that you said, okay, once it went into overcool, now the price action gave you that signal, right? To okay, RSI is overcool. Now I'm gonna start tracking it. So you don't even have to look at the chart. You could come right here and be like, okay, we dump into the overcool. Now let me start tracking it. So you track it from here to here for a potential move.
Yeah.
Just like right here, you just track it. Right, so you got the RSI, MACD cross, and then you got your higher low above the 10. It's trying to lock it in, or trying to
Yeah.
engage the target and fucking get in.
And the only other time that like I was I was like, okay, let me look for other signs to get in was right here when this one opened on top of the 10.
Hmm.
Because I was like, okay, if this one goes up and has a pullback, then that could be it. And the funny thing is at that time, that's when the RSI had popped up and was starting to come back down. That was like
Yep.
right around there. But you know, that's why you wait. That's why you don't get in as soon as the candle opens up. You gotta wait and see what it does. And
Yeah.
that's why I like this one. This one was really encouraging because like sometimes if they open on top of the 10, I might get a little FOMO and be tempted to get in. But
Hmm.
this one opened below and smashed through. And I was like, this is like the ideal signal candle.
Yep.
And then you wait for the pullback.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's real good. And with me, I'm happy with this entry because like, you know, I don't mind like waiting for a couple of ticks to watch it just come up a little bit. And you know, and maybe I was like one tick. Like if it were one tick a little bit lower, then that would be really cool with me. But like, you know, whatever. It's still good.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So even at this pop, you said, right? You said you're looking at it.
Yeah.
So you were like, okay, so relative strength index, right? So if you see it dump down and it creates a higher low, that's telling you the buyers are gaining strength.
So with it coming down, that means the buyers are getting strength. Like it's going
If
down to collect more
if
strength.
if RSI creates a higher low.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
once it comes down and it bases and it still created a higher low, the relative strength index is telling you that the relativity of buyers' strength is coming in.
Yeah.
I hope I explained that right. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then look at how high the strength, how much strength there is by this time. It's like real strong.
yep,
And seeing the 50 line can make me nervous, not nervous, but make me not want to get in if the 50 is right there, but the 50 was all the way up here. So it's like if this had been the 50, that 50 RSI and 50 SMA combination is really strong, but this is just the 12.
yeah,
So the fact that the 50 RSI was there, I didn't even think about that. I just thought, look at how much strength it had after that last pullback, you know. And plus that's when MACD was already like, all right, this is the one, you
yep. Because
know.
even the histogram on the MACD was going to the buyer side right here.
Yeah. I want to reorganize my chart so I can see the whole scope of the MACD. Like I only have this little sliver. I'm gonna maybe like start looking at MACD on my Ninja chart.
Um, move the volume and put it in the background of over here.
Does that sometimes get in the way of the candles, or is that not too distracting? I'll try it.
It's not too bad. I mean, how do I have?
I'll try it out. I'll
No, no,
try it.
I don't have it like that.
I'd love to see more of this because I'm getting a little bit more into looking at the histogram of MACD and not just the
Yeah,
cross. You know,
yeah,
that's a little more important. Yeah, I'm gonna try that out next week. I'm gonna move this up here into the background, see how it goes.
yeah. It might get noisy in the beginning because I've seen Brandon's like his volume bars are like overlapping this area,
Yeah, right.
and you're like, "What the fuck's a candle? What's a volume bar?" But
But I also have my price action on my Ninja chart, and that chart's really big, so I'll be all right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
cool, awesome trade.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I like it.
Luna or Dell, you want to jump into a couple of your trades?
Grab that screen share.
Okay, is Dell going or should I?
No, you can
No,
go.
share your screen. We'll do like two or three. Well, first
Okay.
off, who's gonna go first?
Dell, are
Luna?
you going?
No, you can go, Luna.
Okay. All right. So basically, let me see how we're gonna share here. Screen.
So how well did you do this week? Did you have 50-50?
Um, Mostly I missed the good ones,
Uh-huh.
because what's happening, trying to look at too many things at the same time, and by the time I realize, it's too late. And sometimes I did not read the RSI properly.
Yeah.
So it's still learning and lots of learning.
No,
Let's
that's
say,
fine.
yeah,
That's fine. You wanna create a system of like reading the chart like a book, right? Whatever that is. To me, I always, like I told you, is look at price action. From there, I look at RSI and then look at MACD and then back up. Like I turn
yeah,
the page, start back up at price action. Okay, what do the moving averages look like? Okay, they're looking like they might start to turn or whatever.
right, right. So let me do a share screen.
You should be able to share screen. There we go.
Okay, so this is on the 15th. So I took this trade with a bear bias after the cross down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying the A setup here. I did not understand the B setup very well, so I took some trades, and hopefully you can clarify it for me.
Sure.
The one with the I think you said the RSI with the 10 SMA. So so basically here I did the timing wrong, I guess. So I stopped it, and sometimes the best thing to learn is when to stop instead of going all the way wrong
No, you
and
you
just
you had an awesome stop. First
yeah.
off, you had the cross down, right? Scroll down a little bit so you can see the whole chart right there.
Let me try to see if I can make
Yeah,
it
see,
bigger.
no, you're fine right there.
Okay.
The only thing is the MACD and the RSI are bullish, and I think that's why I went against you.
Yeah. So here was the cross, and this was
So you
my
got the
entry.
cross down, yeah.
Yeah. And this was my entry here at this point, right? So it was going
Yeah,
down, and this is where I said, okay, it's looking good, go in, but no, it wasn't. There was a volume up over here, but
good.
the volume up was after. So remember, this was red
Yeah,
at the beginning. So this is why I took it as, oh, it's red, but it was forming. I should probably wait until it closes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then the
Wait like
RSI
a
was,
minute or two. Not even a minute. Like wait for it to close and see how it's opening. The only bad thing is
look at the
these candles
RSI.
were. Remember how I was telling in the pre-meeting? I was telling you, oh, I wanted to hold this level, right? I
Hmm.
wanted to hold this level. Or hold below or hold above this level. It looked like it broke back above the 50 price action, and then it started creating higher lows. And then
Yes.
MACD and RSI are bullish. So what I like to see, if I'm getting in like where it's all jumbled up right here, I want to see those candles close below the 10 SMA or the 50 SMA, not go above the 50. Like closing like where's your 50?
Well, this is the 10, and the 50 is
Yeah,
the red, and it did not close below, but it went down. It was in action at that
yeah,
time, and I guess I just tried to, because the movements are so fast. Sometimes I try to
yeah,
catch it, and sometimes when I'm pressing the button and it's over here, I'm
yeah,
already over there
yeah.
when I'm
No,
pressing.
I
So
understand.
I'm slow. very slow still. So
Just see how
yeah.
the candles are like red, black, and they're all overlapping. You want to try to see like a clean pullback. The choppier the pullback is, the odds are not that great in your favor. The only other thing that pointed out to me was this volume beat. This volume beat right here. That's the only, because when it based right here,
Hmm.
I looked at that volume beat and there was no red right here. No
Yeah.
red at all.
Yeah. And one thing is, I looked at it. It is like slowing down
Hmm.
and it's stepping down. So and then, but it didn't. I did not get a good red, and I noticed that later on, and this is why I stopped it. I just said,
Well, that's cool. Your stop is
yeah.
good. The only thing is when volume is going down, that means the squeeze might be coming. And that's kind of what happened right here.
Mhm.
A little squeeze up. But yeah, pay a little bit more attention. Even if you're like in that trade right here, if you go up a little bit, if you're in that trade right here, you got in, you want to see RSI below the 50.
Yeah.
Once it breaks back above, you want to be like, I might want to think about getting out.
Correct. Correct.
So especially if it's holding the 50, or holding the 50 right here, it's good that you got out right there on that candle
Not
because it
only
held
that,
the 50.
it was doing a higher
Yep, higher
lows.
lows. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, at the
And
beginning I wasn't looking at this, so now I will look at RSI in a different
yep.
lens, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, but look, remember how I always tell you, like, I'm always tracking, like, if I want to go down, then I'm always tracking this, right? I'm tracking that first. I don't want RSI, even if it breaks a little bit, I don't want it to break, close above that.
Mhm.
Once it closes above this lower high, then you might not get in and wait until it's a little bit more clear picture. But
Okay.
definitely with this type of price action, it's just like range bound, and you're just, and then you got in right in the middle of the range, you know. So it can either
Yeah.
go up or it can go down. But when the pullback is clean and kind of like lasagna cats, you know how it was all jumbled at first, and then his first pullback, it was perfect. It was two candles, and then it continued going up.
Right.
Just be careful. Like burn this image. Like you don't want price action. You want to be a beautiful like three candles up, two down, and then I'm getting in.
Okay.
But you want to stack up these catalysts. Like I said, track. Like okay, you got lower high, lower high. It's going down. Okay, now what I want at this point right here. At that point, you're telling yourself, I want it to break because it broke the 10 already right here, right?
Right.
So now you want to tell yourself, I want price action to break the 50, which it did right here. It broke the 50, and I want it to break the 50 RSI. You got
Okay.
that. You got that right here. It broke the 50, and you broke the 50 right there. And now, if you missed that, then you're tracking that lower high right there. You're like, okay, that's a lower high. But remember last week I said RSI can start creating lower highs or higher lows in the middle of the channel. And that's what it did right here. So now you're like a wedge. You're just fighting like that. Right?
Between. Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, now now I'm tracking. I'm tracking I'm tracking this and I'm tracking that. Right? I don't want RSI. If I'm going bearish, I don't want RSI to break above there. If I'm going long, I want to see higher lows off of there. And now if it's holding the 50 RSI right here, then I might think about getting in somewhere in this area for it to go down. But I want price action candles to hold below the 50 because RSI is below the 50.
Mhm.
And this comes with screen time. I know it's kind of hard for you because it's a lot of stuff coming at you. And when it's live, you're like, fuck, what do I do?
Yeah.
But try to just create a little system where you start seeing these signals.
Okay. Wanna go to the next one?
Yeah.
Here I entered the trade a bit after I was supposed to. Uh, the the trend was, going down here. So I did get stopped out as well over here, and this was, you know, this is, I think, where was it? The potential entry. It was a bad entry as well. So I looked over here, and this is the basically the
The
cross
cross. Yeah.
over here, and then I waited for it to come to the 50, and it you know, it did reverse. So I entered over here, right?
What was that? I'm sorry.
So this is my entry was over here, and I got stopped out on this one.
Yeah, your
You check.
entry was a little too low
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the 50 is what right here? Or what is that moving average?
This is the 50, the red.
Yeah, so it tagged the 50 right there, right?
Tagged the 50, and then
Yeah,
it continued down. So this is where
so
I
this is a
stopped
lot
entering.
better pullback. See how it's a beautiful pullback
Yeah,
right there? Now, that's the type of candle that I like to see tag a certain level. So now you wait for that candle to close, and then you get in a tick or two ticks below that candle, below this candle right here.
yeah. So I was late, and I entered 2 points below.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
it go against you completely?
I believe so.
Yeah, you would have got stopped out either way.
Yeah, I got stopped out on this one.
Yeah, the only thing that would have saved you here. Scroll down a little bit. Right there. Yeah. You gotta pay attention. So two things you gotta pay attention here is right where you got in is where I would be getting in long. But it is a better pullback. If you would have got in here, you still would have got stopped out, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I gotta kind of. So it's long. I mean long. It's spread, right? Spread. Now it's getting tighter.
Okay.
When you start seeing the moving averages get tighter, you have to be careful if you're gonna go against the grain. Because you got the cross way over here.
Yeah, it was too far.
So you want the move to happen within like 10 minutes,
Okay.
right? But right here, it started creating higher lows. It created higher lows there, and it still created higher lows here.
Yeah, I wasn't reading the RSI.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's now I know how to read it. Trying to see if there was a good. This one was a good one, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good.
so this one was successful. Um, so the cross was here.
Yep.
And my entry was over here.
And where's the 50? Right
This is the
here,
50,
huh? Right here.
and this is the 10. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. You had a couple opportunities here, right?
I did,
Uh,
but I missed it. So I tried to tag it later on. I got to the sometimes I'm not as fast to get things, or I'm doing something else sometimes.
hmm
I don't pay attention to it. Yeah. But
um,
this one I reached both targets.
this is
I
a
think I
nice
put my
one.
targets a little bit higher than the usual for some reason.
That's what, like 15 points?
Um,
54 or 64?
this was 7. I entered at
Oh yeah, 64.
764,
Yeah,
and so
you got
69
5,
was
7
the
points.
first one. Yeah, yeah, 5, 6 points.
No, that's awesome. 'Cause you still got, higher lows, right? Higher lows over here. You got higher lows right here with the divergence coming in.
Yeah, but the question I should probably have entered somewhere around here, though, right?
That would have been better entry.
Yeah,
That would have been better.
but then I will have been scared of I wouldn't have been stopped out, but I wouldn't have really concerned about it going below.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what you're looking at, let's say you get in right here, right? That's where I
Mhm.
most likely would have got in, is
Okay.
right here in this area. And your stop should be right here. 1, 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 4 ticks, whatever you think.
Okay.
But you stop out right here. And now you're like, whoa, it would have scared me or I would have gotten nervous. You don't have nothing to be nervous about, especially because the RSI is above the 50 right here. And
Mm.
now if RSI goes down and then it hits the 50, then you'll think about stopping out.
Okay. Well, it did hit the 50 here, right?
No, but see how I drew the line and it hit the 50 from below? That
Yeah.
means that it's the bears are gaining strength. But over here, it hit the 50, is still bullish. And we'll
Yeah.
scroll down a little bit. Yeah, see, and then right here, MACD is still above the 0 line.
Yeah.
Now, if it was like pointing down like this right here, I would have been a little bit more sketch of this. But if the MACD is above the 0 line and RSI is holding the 50, then you should have nothing to worry about. Don't get
Okay.
scared. Don't get scared off of that. Especially if you entered right there and your stop is down here. You're like, fuck it, let it ride.
Yeah.
Definitely don't trade if you're not paying full attention to your chart, because that might make you get in the wrong spot. And just trust the RSI. The RSI will tell you a lot of the times if you need to get out or stay in.
Okay.
But that was a beautiful trade.
Yeah. Next one. Yeah, this is the one I took. Just I want you to explain to me, like, over here, how to use the 10 SMI strategy. So I just took the trade as and closed it just to identify a pattern here and see is there a play over here or not?
Right here.
Yeah, for the 10 and RSI. So this is not this is for the B setup.
Oh yeah, the B setup, no. I would want to see RSI like right here. I would want to see it hitting its head but from below it, not on top,
Okay,
because
so
it's
this is
still
if I'm going
bullish.
long or just,
Because you entered long or you entered short?
well, here I did enter long.
Yeah, I see
Here.
that.
Oh, sorry. This is the old one. This is the one here. So entry over here, and just I just stopped it. But the idea was just to see. Uh,
To go short, right, or to go long?
I don't know if I went short or long on this one, but I'm just trying. I just took a screenshot over here because it was going.
It looks
This
like
is your
you got in
50.
short. Yeah,
I think so. I think so. It's because the target. It's at target over here.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right
So
there.
yeah, yeah.
It's a iffy entry, just because it's creating higher lows. What I
Okay.
want to see is break that trend, come back and test it, right? You always want it to come back and test that level. At the same time, you want to see RSI test that same level. And it hit resistance and it hit the RSI 50 resistance for it to go down like that.
Okay, so for it, if I'm playing short, I want it to go below the 50
Yep. Yep.
to a higher uh,
To a lower
uh,
high
a lower high.
off the
Okay,
50.
off the 50.
Yeah. Off the 50 RSI. There's a
Okay,
50 up here is right here, right? Somewhere? Is that it?
that's the
Can't
50.
see.
But I'm trying to play here to focus on the 10 because you said
Yeah.
this play is only about 10 and RSI.
It is, but you still have the 10, the 100 and the 50 almost pointing straight up.
Mhm.
If you're going to play, you might want to write this down. If you're going to play the 10, the grade B setup,
Mhm.
you want to see the 50 more like this, right? You don't want
Flat.
to see it like this.
Okay.
That's not good. That's no good.
Okay.
In the one of the first weeks, I said when it breaks a moving average, for it to continue going down in that direction, the next moving average has to be flat or somewhat flat. Right here,
Yeah.
both of them look like they're still going up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to
Yeah.
trade your grade B, you want to see it more like this. You want to see it like, like that. And don't get in over here. You would get in more where it's flat. Because then this is going to pull down the 10 SMA and go like this. So you would break the 10, hit the 10, and then it's going to be pulling it down like that, and then price action is going to break through and go that way.
Okay. And at what point I get entry above the 10 or below the 10? Is this how
Below the 10, you want to see
below the
it.
10?
So let's just say it's right here, right? Like
So
this,
this is the 10, yeah?
and
Okay.
here's the 50, right?
Right.
So it breaks the 10, right? You don't get
Okay.
in because your RSI is still on the top side. You don't get in right there.
Okay.
What you want to do is wait. Because sometimes it'll
So
keep going down and then it'll break the 50 RSI and then it'll pull back up to the 10, creating another lower high, right? Because that's a lower
oh,
high, that's a
okay.
lower high. And then at that point, you want to see the 50 hitting the RSI
Perfect. Okay.
like that.
I'm just gonna take a copy of this. So
No,
just
that's fine. Go
yeah.
for it.
Uh, do- Perfect. Okay.
So that's what you want to see. No, I'm glad that you took the trade and identified something, right? But
Yeah.
you want to see the moving averages a little bit more flat. When they're up and then this one is kind of going like this, the chances are that it's probably gonna loop it because that's saying the uptrend is still strong. But if you always want to see the next slowest moving average or the next fastest moving average, I don't know what it would be because it's a 50, right? So it's faster than the 10.
Yeah.
Um, so the next faster moving average, you want to see it more flat like that.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's the 50.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the one after it is the 100.
Yep. So then if it breaks the 50, right? If it breaks the 50, like let's just say it's like this and it breaks the 50, the 100 is still pointed up, then you might want to target the 50 or a little bit below it, right? But if it's like this and then it starts to flatten out and then this one's going like this, then you would wait for the break of the 50, come back, test the 50, and then it should break the 100 to the next moving average.
And the final thing is the RSI should be
Yeah, below the 50 RSI.
below 50. And with it, it should be making a lower high,
Yeah,
right?
lower high,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent information.
Yep.
Anything of the MACD I should be looking at that point, or is it just as long as
The
it's pointing
MACD
down?
looked bearish. The
Okay.
MACD looked bearish. I mean, you just gotta be careful that it doesn't start to look
Change.
like this. If it starts to look like that, then you might not even think about getting in, right?
Okay.
Because it's gonna cross to the bullish side and
Okay.
do that. But it looked bearish. That was the only thing that looked bearish there.
Yeah. All right. So this is another one I took as well for identification purposes. So if I'm over here, this is the 10. So
Yep.
it did break the 50 over here. then it pulled back. So over here, sorry, it broke the break. It pulled back up. So is this a good entry at that point with the
Yeah.
RSI?
Yep.
This should have been my point entry.
Yeah, but see how it's only a 2-candle pullback? I like for it to be a little bit more candles. Like right here, see how it's 4 up and then a couple grand down? That's
Mhm.
gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough entry for a newbie. Just because it's 2, right? But you just gotta pay attention, make sure it holds below the 50 RSI and you'll be good.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if I've done any more. Here I just blinked. It just gone.
Yeah.
This was I was waiting for this A setup over
Yep.
here. So it
You got the
crossed.
cross right there.
Yeah, it came back nicely. And then I was just trying to press the button, waiting for it to press the button.
Yeah.
I don't know, I blinked, I looked away or something. I don't know. And boom, it was up, very high. So I just stopped. I didn't take it. But I don't know.
Go down a little bit. Oh, you don't have the 50 on that one, but it is above the 50. But these are still. I would have probably got in right here.
Yeah,
See how
that's the
it
50.
tagged the 50?
Yeah.
Tag the 50 right there, right it to the 100.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely, this is a better play. You would have got in right here or at the tag of the 50, like on the green candle, not on the red candle. You want to wait for the red candle to hold above the 50.
Oh, so I don't wait for the price tag? Oh, okay, because he did tag it over here.
Yeah. So that could
Oh,
have been your first entry,
that's
right?
my entry. Yes, yes, yes.
But then right here, there's a little doji. Look at that little doji right there, a little sucker. So you look at that little doji, you draw a line, and as long
Yeah.
as it holds above that level, you get in.
Okay.
So you could have got in right here at this on the green candle, because
Yeah.
the red, see this big wick shows buying pressure coming in,
Right.
and then right here, MACD was kind of going like this, stayed above the 0 line. The histogram, sellers getting smaller. So probably would have done this.
But the RSI is doing a lower highs over here.
But at that point, it's above the 50.
It is
See?
above the 50. Yes. I mean, this is where I put my arrow. My
Yeah,
entry. Right. So you don't wait for it to close. You just enter once you're above that.
a certain level.
Yeah. Okay.
So usually, like I said, I always look at the doji. So I always draw
Over here. That
dojis.
one.
Always look to the left. And
Yeah.
where's it gonna go? It's probably gonna go to right there.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, here I did take a trade. I did move my stop though, just above my trade entry, because I was freaked out a little bit of the you see it just touched almost my target, but I
Yeah,
didn't take it. And when I saw this huge drop, I was a little bit concerned, so I did put my stop a little bit above my entry.
that's fine.
Yeah, it took it and went up. So it stopped me. Well, not stop. I mean, just took the stop over here and continue. You want to check the entry if it's correct?
Cause you got the 1050 cross.
So this is
Where'd
the
you get
cross
it?
over here.
Right here. You could have got in right here.
Yeah.
Or right there on the 50 as well. Cause that 50 is right there.
I think I went in too late on this one as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because remember, if you get the 1050 cross, you want the pullback to be within the first 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Uh,
But it was crossing up and down, and it just I wanted to make sure it is like
yeah, but look
so-
at this green line. It's flat,
yeah.
right? And you're going long, so the red is going like this. Remember, if it's above the 50 and the next moving average is flat, then that's where it's going to. That's where it's
Mhm.
smashing through.
Okay.
So see how the 50 is up. So if the moving average is in the direction you're going in, then it still has strength in that direction. But see how it's at the bottom, so it's basing at the bottom. But you got the 1050 cross right there, and the 100's already flattening out.
Mhm.
So your best deal to get in is down here by the 50.
Okay. Because it went up, down, crossed down, then crossed back up. But when I saw the cross up over here, this was going, the 50 was going up. This was flat, yes.
Yeah.
And then it's probable long.
Yep.
And yeah, I should have taken it over here instead.
Yep.
Then
You
I
want
wouldn't
you
I
want
wouldn't
the
have looked
first
worried.
pullback. Second pullback at the worst. The third, you got in on the third, and that's why you probably.
It went up to the target eventually.
Mhm.
Like it went all the way to the target, but I was it ended up to the 200 SMA, which was my target. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it did reach it. So, but because I was spooked and my my
Well,
stop
your entry wasn't as laser as it should have been, because
exactly.
if you
Yes.
would have got in over here or right here, you still would have been good. Because
Yes.
look at right
But
here, this candle wouldn't even came close.
true. No, but yeah, I see. Yeah, because I entered over here. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the first one.
Yep.
That happens a lot. By the time I check everything, I'm missing
Yeah.
the entry.
Yeah.
But it comes with time.
Exactly. It'll come with time, and you want to be kind of like predicting where price action might go to. You don't want to
Mhm.
be catching up where price action must go to, because then you're gonna start getting nervous. Your heart rate starts going up, and you're like, "Fuck, I made the wrong decision to get in here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I think this is the main ones. This was a cross down, and I took it from here. So I think I took it in the right spot, but it went against me over here.
yeah, that
So
MACD cross. Just be careful with that MACD cross. Go down. See where the RSI is at. Yeah. See how the RSI is on the top, and it confirmed,
yeah,
and it went
and
against you.
yeah, and this is where I put a line because I looked at this later after
Yeah.
I got stopped out. I didn't look at the RSI.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
when you get the MACD cross and then you got higher lows and you got the confirmation right there, that's no bueno for short.
yeah. So it's just
It'll come with time.
it does. It's just I'm missing things. This is I'm missing the where to look at things. That's all.
Yeah,
But
no, that's fine.
the good thing is I'm identifying some of it, so
Yes,
that's good.
yes, you're getting better at that.
Yeah,
You're
look,
getting
I
better.
said it. It was a bad entry. Like and I said the reason here. I put my stop very short and
Yep.
got stopped out when the price was going much higher. But I think this was the so here MACD was starting to go up, and it just was a bad entry. I identified it, and I think I stopped it or it got stopped out. I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
think I got stopped out over here.
I think you're trying to. I think you might get tunnel vision sometimes. So your tunnel vision on the MACD on the 1050 cross, that sometimes you fail to look at other things.
Yes.
When you should take it like, okay, I got the 1050 cross, and now let me look at RSI. Let me look at MACD.
Yes.
Know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, oh, I got the 1050 cross, let me get in. No, be like, okay, I got the cross. Now what do I want to see? I want to see the MACD cross. If you're going short, you want to see, you don't want to see this. You don't want to see that MACD look like that
Yeah,
because you're getting the bullish cross up, right?
right.
Not the other way around. Not only that, but then you got RSI
The
divergence
RSI
right here.
wasn't looking good either. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got the confirmation right there. Boom. You're like, right there. You should have been like, I might think about getting out.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
But
good stuff. Good stuff. So
yeah, man, thanks for sharing. Good trades. I know some of them went against you, but see how I kind of walk you through like, okay, look at this. Once you get the 1050 cross, now look at MACD or RSI. That should
yeah,
be your first thing. I got the cross. Now let me look at this. Now what do I want to see next? Ask yourself, what do I want to see next? If I'm going long, I want to see a higher low created off 10 SMA, 50 SMA, whatever. And then I want next, I want to see a higher low off the 50 RSI. And here's what I mean off the 50 RSI.
excellent.
Yeah, just create a little system, whatever, if it's getting the cross and then looking at RSI, or if it's getting the cross looking at MACD, or getting the cross looking at um, volume. But create a little system for yourself. Be like, okay, I got this, check. So get a little check mark. You got the 1050 cross, check. Now I need to get 2 or 3 more check marks before I even think of getting in.
Yeah, gotcha.
And those check marks can be the MACD cross, higher lows on the RSI, or a 50 RSI confirmation.
Okay.
And then once you got 3 check marks, okay, time to get in the trade.
Okay.
But cool. Thanks for sharing. Keep up
Thank
the
you.
good work. Keep on trading. I know this might be slow and boring, but this is where you learn the most, actually recapping your trades with other traders that have been with the lead strategy for a while and can kind of guide you through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh,
Definitely now I able to identify certain things. That's a good thing.
and you get to get better. You'll start to see the consistency. You'll be like, oh, I took 4 red trades on my 3rd week, and now I only got 2 red trades, and I'm getting better at identifying stuff. And I think that's what a lot of new traders have a hard time doing is like, well, I got the 1050 cross, I'm getting in. And you're like, no, you have to look at the whole picture. Don't get tunnel vision. Trust me, I've been there where I used to use the fibs and I'd get tunnel vision and I would just get in because it hit the golden pocket and I got in and then it would go against me. I was like, fuck, I need to use that as a signal to look at other stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
But cool, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Dell, I gotta take a little break, but go ahead and start.
Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
All right, cool. This trade was actually on the 17th. When the market opened, it was dropping. And usually when I see like a whole bunch of reds, especially in the start of the morning, I don't try to like jump into any trades because I'm not sure how far along through the night everything was going. So I just, keep an eye on it. And I noticed the market started stepping up, but I didn't want to jump in just because of seeing the fair value gap. I kind of didn't want to get scammed out, like where it just pops up and then drops all the way back down. So I basically waited until I got like a good confirmation. There was a video like the balance price range that Semper sent me, and seeing this right here actually helped me to get confidence to actually jump in. actually at this third point, because when you have this volume over here, especially with the wick, and they actually line up, because this is where I saw it stop. And when I saw it hit the top part of this wick also, and it created this fair value gap and it was consolidating, I actually got in from this top wick. That's how the balanced price range works. So I took it up actually. I saw the even though I saw the RSI was getting overheat and everything. No, during that time when I actually got in, because I had gotten a call during the meeting, it wasn't even close to it. It was actually right on the 50, and it stair stepped up. I was on the 1 minute chart. So from there, I wanted to close out this trade right here where this green fair value gap was with for the reds at the top right here. So, of course it waited because it didn't hit. It started coming back down. So I wanted to actually wait for it to hit here so I can get out. So I moved created profit stops and moved them along the profit stops just to make sure I didn't get played out for a dump. So right here, right before it even touched the actual fair value gap, another fair value gap created. So I was like, okay, if that's happening, I can move the stop above under this candle and let's see if the play continues, because I only did get one contract. So I was able to close green because we did reach the 666. So that was my first trade. It took a while, but it was my first trade, and that was really it. My second trade, I'm sorry.
I was
That's
gonna say
good.
it was a badass trade. It's a good
Yeah.
trade.
It's
Yeah.
good that it took a while, you know?
Yeah, no, it did take a while. Like I said, I didn't want to jump right in just because I saw the first one, because
Yeah.
I've seen it happen where it'll touch, it'll consolidate, and then it'll just drop, creating lower lows. So I kind of wanted confirmation. Then on top of that, when this happened, I was looking at these volumes and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't trust it,
Yep.
because it beat it out this green. So I waited. But then the second one came up. And still, even though the green started working, I'm like, I don't know. It did bounce on the 50, but this is what made me not want to get in
Yep.
because they were so close together. Then it started separating. Then when it came down here, I'm like, okay, I did jump in. Like I said, I think on this green wick, that's why I waited, because I wanted to make sure. And I'm like, okay, if it doesn't work, I'll use the 50 as my stop.
Yeah. And you know
And
what? Like the longer you wait, sometimes the better. And you got the most decisive of all of those legs.
yeah, it did work out. I was definitely happy. What did help too, because during that time, Simper was actually calling out the plays, to be honest.
Yeah.
So even though he was like, it's gonna reverse here, I was still skeptical. Not that I didn't believe him. I just needed to see it. I just needed to see for myself because I always remember the market can do whatever it wants.
Yep.
So, when I saw it bounce here and I saw it drop, and I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't get in, I would have been screwed. But then it bounced right here. And normally this is like, I know the grade A setup, but
Yep.
again, it's just that red candle and it was under the 50. I was like, nah, I don't trust it. It doesn't look well. Even though the 10 SMA was moving up, it just didn't feel right. But then it did pop, and of course I'm like, oh, I could have, should have, but it's all right. You know what? It's fine. And like I said, during that day it was a little crazy during work. So the second one, like I said, ended up happening. Even though there was green, I still didn't trust it. So that's what ended up happening. And that's
One
how I got this straight. Go ahead.
one thing is, if you don't have a moving average target, look at
Mhm.
the structure. So this might also help you stay in the trade a little bit longer. Is like, okay, I'm not gonna get in until it breaks above this structure right here
Mhm.
and confirms, right? So if you miss this, it's good that you didn't get in over here because you don't ever know if it's gonna go a lower high and go down.
Correct.
But since there's structure right here, that if I got in right here, that's my target right there. Even though it's like the 50 SMA right here, or I don't know
Mhm.
what your moving averages are. Um, I would
They're
line that up.
I call them the easy moving averages.
But that's what, like if that moving average lines up with the previous structure, then that area right there is gonna be heavy resistance to me, right?
Okay.
But then look, it breaks above it. Once it smashes through it, that's why I like to draw horizontal lines because I like to
Mhm.
see the candle. Is it gonna smash through that level, or is it gonna like timidly or tentatively just slowly go up to that level? If it slowly goes up to that level, then I'm a little bit more hesitant because I know that it's the buyers taking profit and it's causing this slow fluctuation up and down. But if it smashes through that level, then I know that the buyers have strength to go for the next level. And that's a main driver when I'm calling out plays is okay, I'm looking at the candle. Is it smashing through that level? Okay, smash through that level, and then I'll call it out to you guys and say, like, hey, now that it smashed through the 10 SMA, the 50's up next. Just wait for the pullback. When you wait for the pullback, you need to see it hold the 10 SMA and then hold above the 50 RSI or the RSI creating higher lows. That's what you want to see. And if you see that, okay, now you get look for a third confirmation, whatever that is.
Well, because for me during that time, I used the red fair value gap line and the
Mhm.
green line as like my confirmation.
Yep.
Because usually, like I said, I did see the wicks because I usually look left and I saw this wick and I wasn't too sure. And that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna make the type stop loss using the
Yep.
50 because of this wick right here.
Mhm.
But then I remembered that video on the balanced price range, and because of this right here, they say use the smaller
Yep.
one,
Yep.
and I was like, but it didn't match the way I saw it in the video. So that's why, again, there was a lot of questions going through my head. I'm like, I don't know. You know what? Maybe it's not right now. Let's just give it a minute because one thing I realized is something always transpires.
Yep.
That's why when you messaged me, I was like, it's just that patience that makes the key.
Mhm.
So when this actually happened, I saw it consolidate, and I'm like, okay, these two match up. These could probably be a key point. I saw a lot of green here, and I was like, okay, hold on, you stop it. That's why I was like, let me get in, let me make the type stop, and if it passes, I think I'll be good. And my stop point actually was going to be right here because of this green fair value gap. So when it started stair stepping and it didn't hit, I was like, oh crap, I'm screwed. That's why I had my stop loss, right here, just in case if it
Yeah.
just fell through. Um, but I was like, you know what? Just give it a chance to see what ends up happening. And it held. So right when it started stair stepping, I'm like, all right, we're about to hit target. That's when it just popped up. And I'm like, oh, another fair value gap. Okay, you know what? I did deviate from the plan. I should have closed out, but because when I saw this, it gave me more confirmation that it's going to actually most likely tag the 666.
That's a good deviation. When you start back holding, that's when it's bad. If you just keep moving your stop up, for all means, fucking go for it, dude.
Yeah, so
Uh,
that was definitely that play. And then the other one that I took was close to end of day where everything was going. It did pass the 666, and I waited. And right here, when the fair value gap, I didn't want to get in again because I'm like, there's so much red. I wasn't too sure. And then when it reached right here, like I said, this is when I use my critical. I seen when it stopped here. I used the red fair value gap and the green as like my baseline.
yep.
And I used the red for entry once it started getting on that green candle. So I
Mhm.
waited and I was like, you know what? I'll probably stop off right over here at the top. And I didn't even realize close the end day candle, it just shot right up. Then I was
Yep.
able to close that here for those points.
That's where the last 10 minutes of the market, that's where you get those big candles right there. But something that would have told me that is if we hold above this level, because I know there's sellers and buyers right there, the last previous structure. So there's gonna be a big move coming if that level holds,
Yeah,
which
but
it did.
usually the big move, you don't know if it's up or if you don't know if it's down.
Yeah.
There is a big move, but I just didn't know the direction of moving. Again, at that time, I was already at 70 RSI, and I'm like, we're close to overheating. There's no possible way. But because,
Yeah.
like you said, we passed this level. I'm like, okay, take a chance. I already had a good cushion.
Yep.
So I was able to like, you know what, if it hard closes beyond here, then I'm done. It's at close to end of the day anyway.
Yep.
And whatever would have been lost. It is what it is.
Yep. See, me, I
So
would have played it a little different. I would have wanted it to come back down and tag the 666 and then got in. Because I've
mhm.
noticed with the ICT, when the fair value gaps line up with the moving averages, those are pretty strong levels. But I mean, right there, you had previous structure right there, previous resistance lined up with the fair value gap. One thing that might help you, I don't know if it overload your chart, is the volume profiles. Um, yeah, for me, I like your confidence is getting higher and higher. Your plays are getting better. But for me on this play, I don't think I would have played it just because it was at the high and it was so close to the close of market. And that's why I would have thought that this would have squeezed down to the 666 and then like a minute later squeezed right back up.
That was the
So
initial
great
because
play.
I was waiting for the grade A setup. So I
Mhm.
did want it to hit the 666 because it bounced the hell, it broke it, and then it started stepping up, and I'm like, all right, it should probably bounce back down.
Yep.
And when I saw it, actually, like I said, it started forming like closing right here.
Yeah.
Not closing, consolidating, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
over here. And I'm like, okay, I think we're gonna get a pop. If anything, I should be able to hit this fair value gap.
Yep.
And like I said, I just got in and said, let's just see what happens. If not, I did calculate like I would definitely close out from right here at the bottom of this red value of the green
Yeah.
fair value gap. That would have been my stop, and it just started going up. And then, like you said, close the market, it just shot up, and that's where I just took it and ran.
Yep. Awesome trade. One thing that I researched with ICT is they wait for the candles to close above that fair value gap sometimes.
No,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
exactly. That's why you
So
won't, most of the trades now, I won't get in during unless like there's other catalysts or stuff like
yeah.
that. But usually I try to get in on top. And if there's like a correlation with the red fair value gap, I'll use
Mhm.
that also as confirmation.
Yep. Then I sent you a video yesterday that might help you with that too. When there's like multiple fair value gaps
Mhm.
in the same direction, it'll most likely line up with the fair value gap that has previous structure um tied to it.
Yeah. You sent yeah today. I did get it, but I
Yeah.
wasn't home. So
No, you're good. Watch it whenever you got time, but I think it's gonna help you tighten up your game a little better, even make you that much better.
okay. And on I did take a trade the next day, but I didn't get it. I did get take this trade. I was able to actually close it, but I couldn't get my notes in because I had meetings all day. So this is like the
Yeah.
only trade I was able to take. Um, so I didn't get a chance to finish and take the actual
You're
ending screenshot. But over here, the only reason, like I said, even though it bounced off the fair value gap, I didn't want to just get right in on the first or second because these reds were right here.
Yep.
So I kind of waited in a sense, and then that's when I actually saw it holding the 10. So that's why
Nice.
it's like, you know what? Let me get in because I see the 10 curving up. Let me just get in, and of course, right here would have been my stop.
Hmm.
And I was able to close it from right here because of the green fair value gap. And I was able to just close two contracts. I think that was like 18 points.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
Now,
that
what I've
was
noticed in the screenshots that you've provided so far is that
mm,
the RSI lines up with your fair value gap.
yeah,
Like if RSI is above the 50 and it comes back and tags a bullish fair value gap, it's most likely gonna go up in your direction.
that's one of the things that I do look for is where's the R. The first thing is RSI, second is volume, and
Yep.
then third is MACD.
Yep. Good.
So, like you said, I'm trying to formulate it. That's the other reason why I didn't take much trades because as I'm looking, I'm trying to ask those questions.
Yeah.
Like, what are we looking for?
Yep.
One of my things is look left, what, like
Yep.
you said, I think I have it, quick notes. Um, I have it right here. Do you see a fair value gap? Does it match the A grade setup, or is there any other fair value gaps? You know, where is it with the SMAs? And then look left, what do you see? Is there no body wicks, or is there like a BPR pattern?
Nice.
Then what's the time frame? If it's a lower time frame, what does the higher time frame show you? Does it go against the long or short? You know, depending on which play I'm trying to go
Awesome.
for. What does it look like to the left? You know, so that's how I go. And then what does the RC MACD and volume tell you? Is the RSI 50, or is it over hot, or is it overcooled? What the story of the volume tells you. So that's how, like you said, to just read if this the red beat or green beat on volumes, you know, could it be a scam or not a scam? And then
Yeah.
is the MACD showing long or short, or are they close together? Is it over or under zero?
Yep.
And then the last one is, what does the VIX show you? Do you see an easy play? Is it close to the standard depth?
Awesome. Awesome, dude. That's exactly what I want to see is you guys create your rules and you're asking yourself those questions because sooner or later you're not going to need those questions. You're going to already just know how to talk to yourself. I guess you
Yeah.
can say it. But the so you have your grade A rules, right? And then you're gonna once I mean, if all you want to do is trade your grade A, then and you have more than enough plays to trade your grade A, then just stick to that, dude. But if you're not getting enough plays, then maybe think about adding a B grade setup or another setup in case
I'm
there isn't.
think
Because I haven't
I'm
seen you take that many short plays. So I'm
well,
thinking you're a
last week
long
I did.
player.
Last week I did because there was more shorts, but
Yeah.
depending, my rule is when I see a whole bunch of reds when I sit down, that means the market dropped. I'm not gonna like play short when I know the market was just dropping.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look for a long play. If it was a long play, then I'll look for shorts. I think when hold on a second. Which date was it? I did take a short play. I took a couple of short plays, but I'm not sure.
But you're having great success on your longs. I
No,
haven't really
I
seen you get
definitely am.
stopped out on
No,
your long plays.
that's the difference. On short plays, I do get stopped out. I do get stopped out on my short plays.
Yeah, so
So yeah.
you may want to just concentrate on longs. I'm not saying not short, as I don't
No.
want to hinder your progress, but just be a little bit more careful with your shorts.
Okay.
Well, if you next time just or maybe this week look up some red shorts where you got stopped out, and then maybe we could figure out why you're getting stopped out.
Okay.
Or if you could pull it up now, we got time. Whatever.
What date was it? These were wrongs. This.
Hey, you, hey, you guys, I'm gonna go get ready for work right now. But these are great recaps, you guys, and Semper, I'll send you the timestamps.
For sure, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, right
Thanks for
on. You
stopping
too.
by.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys next week.
Later, bye.
All right, later.
Yeah, these are the shorts that this day on the 11th, I just took like shorts. So yeah, the 11th, I took like that was the whole short day, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get stopped out, but I basically, because the way the market was, because it did move, like I said, I see a whole bunch of greens. So my next thing is I'm looking to jump in shorts.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, when I saw this one, I wasn't too sure because again, I am that's that one fear of getting faked out. Because
Yeah.
when I'm listening to Brandon, he's like, okay, it could be a scam, it could be a scam. And especially when it's early morning, that's what I'm very, very fearful for. So that's why you'll see me take profits like really quick.
Mm-hmm.
But since we were like in the momentum, and I was like, okay, if it goes at the bottom of this fair value gap, I think I could squeeze out. It'll probably tag the 666. And that's why I had my entry, like my exit right here, right? A little bit before, just in case. and I was able to get the first target hit, and I think I closed this one right after the 666. And
Mm.
that's when I got my second target for like 20 points. Yeah. And I think because that was the week we didn't have a recap. So this one again, I was what else the notes? Yes, for two because of the second fair value gap. So I waited on the pull down, got in here, and I actually hit target was another 666 play. And this
Nice.
was on MES because the first one was on NQ. Then I got off of that and decided to play MES.
Hmm.
So I was able to hit the target. And this, yep, that was part of the play to finish it off. And this one was another NQ play. Like I said, two contracts. I got in at the bottom, waited for confirmation off the screen. That's why it's
Hmm.
an inch above the the red value.
Hmm.
I mean, fair value, red. And I was able to hit target because I wanted my out to be right here. Because I wasn't, I didn't want to give back gains, but at the same time, if it didn't go my way, it is what it is. But I was able to actually hit. No, I think, did I get stopped out? Did I get stopped? No, I did not get stopped. Yeah, I
It looked like
actually,
a head start.
it did hit target, and then I was actually out. And I think I got in again because this was another play. What play was this one? This one was when I took the long, actually, at the end of the day. But yeah, no, I did tag, and I actually was able to get out, and that was it.
Awesome,
I have
man. It
to,
looks like you. It looks like you could play both sides. Um, I mean, pretty good using your strategy.
it
Like I said, your
definitely does
short
help.
plays might be a little bit tighter, but I mean,
Yeah,
you're still green.
yeah.
So I don't see an issue with that. If you want to catch bigger plays, and let's try to figure out, why, um, why you're catching tighter plays. I mean, all the plays you just showed were pretty laser. The only thing
You know,
is like the way that I
I
get in is different, so it looks a little bit goofy. It looks like it looks like you're shorting bottoms, but
but that's exactly what it is. I'm not. I guess you are right. I probably am a long player because when I see the short and I'm like, oh, I could have played that. It's like I want more information. Like I need to see more. Like should give me more red before I even attempt. And
yeah,
if I see another red fair value, I'm like, okay, I'll take it, but I already know I'm at the bottom of it, so I don't
yeah,
look to go for 10 points, maybe 3, 5, maybe 10, but nothing over 10 or 15.
yeah. I think honestly the BPR video that I sent you, the balanced
Hmm.
price range, might help you to get in better entries short.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Because right here there's a BPR, because there's a green and then there's a red right here. And usually what it says
Yeah.
is like use the average or the half or the smaller one, and then it's gonna pop up to it and then continue going down. Um, there wasn't one here. I thought there was another one that had a BPR on it that looked pretty good. But yeah, I think the BPR is gonna help you get in better plays for the short side. I don't know if you
Okay.
want to try that out or not, but yeah, just let me know if you need help identifying better short plays. Because like even this one
Okay.
right here, I mean, if you look at left, there's structure right there, right? So you
Mhm.
could have got in on this one
Yeah.
because
I think.
it broke this structure. So usually what fair value gap is, it rated, right? It had a liquidity rate right here.
Mhm.
It took that rate out, or it took that liquidity out. So what's it gonna do now is come back up and confirm that for a
Right.
continuation down, and it confirmed it with that fair value gap that you got right here.
Oh,
Usually,
you.
if I'm calling out a fair value gap play,
Uh-huh.
I either I put a fishing order like right in the middle or somewhere near the middle, and
Mhm.
then I'll add more as it goes with it.
As it goes down. I think,
Yeah.
no, the reason why I think I missed that play because it was breakfast time.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
'cause
worries. People gotta
if
get
it
it. You
happened
don't
around,
gotta.
if it's 10 to 10:30, that's breakfast time.
Yeah. But yeah, just like I said, you already looked to the left. So now to go short, look to the left, take out that liquidity. It took out this green fair value gap and the liquidity that was there and here. So now the sellers are in. You just need confirmation of that level.
Correct.
And then boom, you would have hit, you could have wrote it, a little better. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? So we can
Yeah.
improve. But I like that you came up with your rules. Luna, maybe create some rules like that. Like I said, it's pinned on the futures chat. There's a pinned document that Lasagna Cat created and its rules. So kind of do what Dell did. So like that, don't you think that it keeps you in check, kind of those asking yourself those questions?
It actually does keep you in check. It makes you really, instead of, because I think it was from one of the books that I read, you're not manipulating yourself to see a play. You're actually seeing if there is a play. I don't know if that
Yep.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. You're not trying to force a trade. You're calling out what you see on the chart and what you want to see before you even get in. So you're slowly confirming the play, step by step. Step one, is there a fair value gap? Yes. Okay. Step two, is there structure taken out? Whatever your rules were, right?
Mhm.
And then you, like I told Luna, is hey, is there a 1050 cross? Check. Okay. Is there RSI? What does that look like? Okay. Check. Is it good or bad? Check. Good or bad? Is a MACD good or bad? Check. And now you can think about getting in after you have at least three check marks or three confirmations, or some of us call it catalysts, three catalysts. If you got three catalysts, then the odds are going to be in your favor. But if you only got two or one, then yeah, it might go against you.
So I just wrote them down actually right now after while we were talking. Gave me all those feedbacks,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote them all down. And next week trading, I'll put check marks on each one every time. I cross check everything.
Perfect.
Yeah, I might miss some trades because of still have to be slow, and by the time I get it, but
No, that's
eventually
fine.
I'll get it faster.
Yeah, you'll start to get it down. Like I told Dell, you'll need them. I always recommend that you print them out and have check marks or whatever you use. And then after a month or two, you're not going to need them because you already know to ask yourself those questions. But if you don't have them in front of you, or if you don't even have those questions written down, then you're just you're just
Aimless.
aimlessly just taking a guess. I'm getting in just because I see two things happening, and it's like, no, I need to see three things,
Yeah,
and it could
and
be a
sometimes
list
you'll
of
forget
10.
one of them.
Exactly. You'll forget one, or you'll get tunnel vision. That's another thing that those questions prevent, is tunnel vision.
Okay.
Because you get tunnel vision, that's where I made a lot of mistakes, was when I would get like, oh, I'm at the fib level, I need to get in. And it's like, no, use that as a signal to look at other stuff, whether it's volume, MACD, fair value gap, uh, RSI, anchor VWAPs, standard dev, whatever it is. You want to ask yourself those questions. And I love that, Dal, you're catching 10, 15-point plays. Um, Luna, we need a little bit more work, but we're gonna get you there, dude. Where you're consistently, all we want to see is you consistently identify the trade, identify the play, get in the trade, lock in your 5 points for right now. You don't need more than five. You
Okay.
honestly don't. Um, Unless you're trading NQ. NQ is a whole different animal though. But lock in your trade and on to the next trade. Wait for another setup. And we're gonna slowly get you there, but you do need to put in that screen time, and that's what's gonna kind of speed up that process. Is take the same trade every time because you want to train your brain to see the same pattern or something similar, right? Because your brain's gonna be able to tell, like, oh, this is. I think this week it was like Monday, Tuesday, um, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The chart looked almost identical for in the beginning of the day, right before open. The chart almost looked identical 3 different days in a row, and I was like, oh shit, this is that same play, same play, and
Yeah.
it all played out the same. So that's why you write those questions down, is so you can know what a good play is and how to identify it on the chart.
Okay, so for the A setup, I have it here. Did it cross 10, the 1050, did it cross up or down?
Mm-hmm.
Did it make a lower high or higher low?
Yep.
And on is the MACD bullish or this the RSI, of course. And the
Yep.
MACD, is it bullish or bearish? Did I miss
Yep.
anything on the setup, A setup?
Volume. You want to see volume.
Oh yeah, the volume too. Okay. You see, always forget something.
No, it's all good. You want to write
Yeah,
that shit down.
check
You can have
volume.
3 of the 4, right? You can have 3 of the 4, but as long as you want to create a system, like whatever your eyes get attracted to. So, like if you see the chart, usually my eyes, if I see a signal on price action, I go to RSI, and then I go to volume, and then I go to MACD. Or sometimes I look at RSI, and then I look at price action. But I'm already used to seeing that, you know. But I have that
Yeah,
little system for me. That's what you want to try to do. Is like before price action hits that level, or before you get the 1050 cross, what does RSI look like? What does MACD look like? So like what you can ask yourself before you even get the 1050 cross is the RSI bullish? Yes. Okay. Am I gonna get the 1050 cross bullish, right? To the upside? Yes. Okay. MACD looks bullish. Yes. Okay. Now I'm looking for my pullback. Did I get the pullback down to the 10 or the 50 estimate? Yes. Okay. I'm getting in.
okay.
That's what your question should be looking like. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because something is gonna signal ahead of time. Even though they say RSI and MACD are laggers, the divergence on the RSI will tell you if there's strength for that move to happen.
Okay.
And if it's diverging, then you kind of know where it's going to diverge to, right? If it's creating higher lows, then you know that the strength of buyers is going up, meaning that there might be a pop, right? So you can anticipate, be like, okay, we should get the 1050 cross here. All right, and then it's gonna cross above the 50 RSI, and then I want it to come back down, pull back down to the 50 SMA, and then tag the 50 RSI, and then I can get it, whatever the case is, right? But I'm slowly using these indicators to kind of forecast what the next move might be.
Okay.
And
And for the B setup, I'm supposed to be looking for the 10 SMA going up or down, breaks next move, moving average, wait for pull up or pull down to the 10 SMA,
yep,
and the RSI below 50 or above 50
yep,
with lower highs or higher lows,
yep,
then the MACD bearish or bullish. So this
yep.
is okay.
Yeah, but the grade B is just the break of the 10. So you want to break of the 10, come back and
Yep.
confirm the 10 and confirm the 50 RSI.
Yeah,
When
and
you
then
get
you
the,
said the
when
50
you,
supposed to be flat or something, right?
yep,
Yeah.
is a 50 SMA flat
Yeah.
or up or down? If it's
Okay.
up or down, then you stay out until you, until you figure that part
So
out. Till it
yeah.
flattens out, or you see a volume profile. Well, I don't think you need a volume profile. You just need those doji levels. Just draw. If you are using the volume profile, then use the doji levels and draw lines on those volume profiles so you know, like, okay, if it goes above this line, we might go up. If it goes below, it might go down.
Yeah, I did some. I actually have the book for the volume profile. I got it from Pete, and I actually reading a little bit of it in all strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's getting there, but I'm not trying it on the ES. I'm trying it on the
NQ.
NQs, so I don't confuse myself between the two, because I want your strategy there on the ES, and until I master it, that's basically what I want to use. But I'm experimenting with the volume profile, so I can understand what is it and what to use, how to use it. It's getting there.
No, that's fine. You just gotta put in that work. I'll send you some volume profile videos.
Please.
I think Pete
I
posted them.
think he posted one, I think, on Sunday.
Yeah, look up that guy. That guy is he gave me a bunch of good tips.
Okay.
And my game just got that much better this week. And you could use my strategy or the elite strategy on NQ or ES. So it doesn't really matter. But I know what you mean. You don't want to just overload the
Well,
chart.
if I can I use the A setup and the B setup on the NQs? That would be a lot easier for me. Yeah, so I don't have to jump between two screens. Because sometimes what happens, I mix up with the I put with the ATM strategy because I use Ninja Trader, and then when I jump from NQs to ES, I end up, by mistake putting an order for an NQ instead of an ES. So it's if it works on the NQs, well, that's great.
It does work. Just be very careful because the moves are bigger. So the pullback might be a little bit more, might go against you a little bit more than normal.
Okay.
But as long as you got a good entry, you're good. Yeah, just try it out. See how it works.
Sounds good.
Cool. Well, I think we'll end it there. Stop the recording. Somehow.